in my opinion, these are the 4 key systems or processes you need to run a successful business as a small business owner or sole trader. There's obviously they're going to vary depending on what industry you're in, but broadly speaking, these are the 4 that I think are really important. Number 1 is some sort of internal management or organization tool. When it comes to just being on top of things that are going on in your business, it is essential that you have a broad picture of what the things that you need to work on are. We use in my business, we use a software called Trello. It's free, it's very simple to use, it's very easy to create a team, and it's very easy to create lots of broad sweeping overview pictures of what's going on in the business. We use it to track our upcoming projects, what we're working on. We use it to track our recurring things that need to happen in the business. We use it to write down new ideas and new opportunities. We use it to track projects that are ongoing and the tasks that need to be done. You can see there's obviously a lot of tools that you can use to do those things, but having some sort of internal management is really, really important to make sure that you can stay on top of the business growth, as well as just the day-to-day business activities that you want to execute to make sure that your business is doing well and thriving. And it also helps you mean that you can stay on top of those things without stressing about it later on at night when you're trying to sleep in bed. Number 2 is a CRM or a sales system. Now, CRM stands for either client retention, or some people use client management system, CMS. It really doesn't matter. The idea is that you need some sort of client and sales system to make sure that you can onboard new clients and you can have a space where you can track the information that you need, whether it be handling payment information, whether it be handling some of your sales strategy and your sales cycle, or having lead nurture and being able to funnel those new opportunities and new leads through a system so you can obviously sell them on your product or service. That is integral. Cash is king. It's so important to make revenue. Without revenue, you don't have a business. So you really need some level of client management or sales system to make sure that you can actually keep track of who you're selling to, where they're up to, what information do you need. That will vary depending on the business that you're in. But there is a 1,000 different ways to do that. One of the easiest ways to track leads that I've found in the area that I'm working with personal trainers is to get them a Excel spreadsheet set up that simply tracks their leads, where they're up to, and how to basically follow those people through until the point that you can then sign them on as a client. Now, you can probably use that same example and apply it to a lot of different service-based businesses. The point is, have an internal management of your sales and your leads. It's essential to actually be able to see how your business is growing and also use the data from that as well. Number 3 is our customer journey and marketing strategy. Now, this is maybe less of a system and more of a strategy, but it does incorporate obviously systems and structures and the ways that you want to do things. So when it comes to the customer journey, what I found as a small business owner is that a lot of us have a bit of an idea in terms of our customers and where they come from, but in terms of the detail and the steps that we want to take them through to actually turn them into a customer is not very detailed. The businesses that I've worked with, it typically just looks like a rough idea of the kind of person that they work with. And then at some point they want to have a conversation and hope that they will sign up to a service. This day and age, that rarely is the case. We actually need to have an idea of where our customers are coming from, how we're going to, what we're going to do to create that brand awareness, and so they actually learn who we are, what we do as a business, how we're going to help them solve the problem that they have, because that's the reason they're going to buy in. Then we basically want to lead them through that journey of what opportunities. I typically would encourage someone to, getting a little bit sidetracked, but I would typically encourage a customer journey to have a couple of different stages that goes from more of a brand awareness, or what I would maybe call attention, to an engagement phase where maybe they're now on your emailing list and you're wanting to actually engage them and have that conversation, maybe is a good word to use. It's about conversation and opening up the dialogue with that potential opportunity or that lead. And then you want to move into a conversion stage where you're actually putting something on the table that you want them to buy in, and you want them to maybe have a front end offer where it's like a free trial or an introduction of some sort. And then we want to move them obviously into eventually being an ongoing client. So you can see how just in that alone, there's a strategy and a process that's important, and you need to be able to take people through that so that you can actually see where your gaps are. Maybe you get a lot of clients up to the conversation point, but you actually find that you can't get many of them from that engagement to being a client. Well, then we need to look at that part of your funnel, and maybe there needs to be something tweaked that allows people to move to that next stage a little bit easier before you sell them on as a client. And so having that marketing strategy and that customer journey mapped out is a really, really important part of making sure that you can actually create new revenue and bring new customers into your business. Number 4 is forecasting and revenue. Now, this is a bit of an internal one. It's probably one that a lot of people don't think about, but it's one, again, that I think I've seen a lot of small business and sole traders, particularly in the fitness industry where I have worked in and I've built my business in, is that they go in and they create a product or a service without having any planning around the pricing, what they're going to offer, how much money they want to make from that. And so what you tend to see happen is that a lot of PTs go in, or a lot of people, small business owners go in, or service-based owners, they charge really low because they don't want price to be an objection. They charge really low, they get some clients. Over time, they probably start to fill themselves up, which is amazing. But what ends up happening is that they end up working a lot more than they want to, simply because they're not charging enough to reflect the time that they're putting in. And so they end up doing 40-hour weeks plus all of their administration on top, and end up pulling a 60-hour week just trying to run their business, and they're not really making what you would want for a 60-hour week. They're making a good wage, but it's nothing, but they're also not getting any free time. They're also not actually able to take time away from their business, because everything is business. It's 12-hour days, 6 or 7, 6 days a week. So when it comes to having forecasting and planning, and even being able to map out how profitable you want your business to be in the long run, it really pays dividends in the short term, in the long term, to stop and plan out the numbers and break down the costs and look at what you want to make, figure out how much you want to earn, and break that down so that you can actually look at the plan. So you can actually understand, what are the costs involved in me doing this? Well, how many hours am I going to give to get to the point that I want to be at? Because you might find that you're actually charging far too little to actually earn the amount of money that you want to earn as a business owner. Or you might find that you're actually charging a lot, and maybe you actually need to strip back a bit because you can probably cut your price down, and maybe that will help you get more clients. I don't know, but the point is, if you have a picture of that, then you actually can create a plan, create a strategy, you know where you're at, and you also know what you need to reach to get where you want to be. So having some sort of internal forecasting and planning and profitability planner that you can actually use as a bit of a guide to get you where you want to be is really, really key. So there you have it, guys. That is my 4. Like I said, there's obviously variability in that, depending on the industry you work in, depending on the sort of scale of business you do. There's obviously going to be different levels, but the principles at play within those systems are the same across all business. Everyone needs internal management. Every business needs some level of sales because you need to get new revenue. Every business needs some level of planning and forecasting for their finances. And every business needs some level of customer journey or marketing strategy to actually help them be successful when it comes to creating new sales and new opportunities. So there you go. Those are the 4 that I think are really important. Make sure you've got those down. If you want to know more about how I do those, feel free to reach out, send me an email or send me a message. But that is my tip for you.